Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, ladies. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading another informational article about a natural disaster, a little shorter than yesterday. And then what you're going to be asked to do is compare and contrast the two informational articles. So again, you're just going to be applying the closed read strategy, and then you're going to look at your notes from yesterday and kind of find those commonalities and those differences between the two. So learning target, I can compare and contrast informational articles. The name of our article is Hurricane Herman Strikes Mexico, and the text format is from the Press Association from Monday, October 21st, 2013. So again, this is just telling us kind of our source as to where we got it from. So Category 4, Hurricane Herman struck several cities along the Atlantic coast of Mexico early last week. By the second day of the storm, winds had reached speeds of well over 140 miles per hour. The winds uprooted or snapped many trees in half. Less well-built homes crumbled. Huge swells from the Gulf also caused major flooding in at least 3 of the 4 cities struck by Herman. Herman again is the name of the hurricane. Much of the land was left covered in mud and filth by massive waves that pounded the shore. Fortunately for the 1 million plus residents who occupy these Mexican towns, Herman now seemed to be over. Rescue workers have already begun the slow process of helping people recover from the devastating effects of this hurricane. Currently, aid workers are trying to assess the damage caused by Herman over the last several days. Early reports indicate that thousands of people are either missing or injured. Many of the missing are feared dead. Power lines are down in all cities, and experts believe it may take weeks or months to restore electricity to these to these areas. To make matters worse, much of the area's water filtration systems were damaged. The contaminated water is causing many people to become sick. Food is also scarce. Volunteers are finding it difficult to get much needed supplies to the people trapped in the residential areas due to debris-covered streets. Relief workers expect many parts of these towns may not even be inhabitable for months to come. So what I want you to do here is, although this is a short passage, we have a lot of great vocabulary in here. So for food is scarce, I want you to use your context clues around here to think, how is the food supply? Okay, so also too, relief workers. What are relief workers? Okay, so again, use your context clues around here to think, what are these important vocabulary words and why do you think Miss Egging really wanted to point them out? Okay, so let's take a look here at our questions. Oh, we've got onto 2 pages here. So directions. Use evidence from the article Hurricane Herman Strikes Mexico to explain why the people of Mexico need aid. Okay, so aid, again, we're getting those from our relief volunteers. Aid, giving them the necessary supplies they need, the supplies that their family needs. So don't just think food, think about other things that they may need. So again, take a look at your lines here. I'm expecting an extensive response, at least 2. So now let's take a look at our big question for today. Compare and contrast the events that took place and the point of view of the stories in this article, Hurricane Herman, and the article from yesterday, Middle of the Storm. How are the events similar? Compare how the events are being told. Okay, so again, you have kind of an extended, lengthy response here. There are a couple of different points for this prompt. Okay, you're comparing and contrasting the events, yes, but I'm giving you a little bit of a guide for that. I want you to focus on how the events are similar, so how the actual natural disaster is similar, and then compare how the events are being told, right? One is a press release, one is a narrative, and our main character kind of walks us through her experience. So tell me maybe the pros and cons of having an informational article as opposed to a narrative about an actual topic that has happened. Okay, so again, nice, 2 big nice responses here. And I want you to make sure that you're using text evidence. Okay, so before you go back and do your second read, I want you to make sure that you're paying attention to a couple things here. Okay, homes crumbled. Huge swells from the Gulf, right? These swells, these are referring to the ocean water causing major flooding. Okay, people are missing or injured. Power lines are down. Okay, contaminated water, food is scarce. Volunteers are finding it difficult to get the supplies to the people that are trapped in these debris-covered streets. Okay, so again, our information here is more concise, right? The article is not as lengthy as Middle of the Storm from yesterday, but you're getting a lot more factual information here. Okay, a lot of areas need tending to. Which ones do you think need tending to first? What's more important? Okay, rescuing people or restoring power? But if you need power to cook food and to clean things and to maybe use certain tools to get out, is power necessary? Okay, so I want you to think. What do you think is most important? This contaminated water. How long can people drink contaminated water without getting sick? Okay, how long can people go without food if food is scarce? So I want you to think about all of these options. Okay, when we're talking about this very first question here, why they need aid and how are you going to get it to them? Okay, again, with comparing and contrasting the events that took place in the point of view, okay, we have a character that we get to kind of really know and learn with the events with the sister and with the mom. The mom is getting outside information with Middle of the Storm, but then with Hurricane Herman, it's just very factual. Okay, we have to kind of do a lot of inferring ourselves. We have to, now that we've read a story, Middle of the Storm, with a character and how people are affected, now you need to take what you've learned in Hurricane Herman, use what you learned in Middle of the Storm, and kind of now make those comparisons. Maybe also give an opinion. Which way do you like to hear about these natural disasters? Do you like the factual part of Hurricane Herman, or do you like the narrative of a story and figure out how it's really affecting people? So again, your voice needs to be very strong here. Make sure you're at least filling these lines, okay? I can't wait to hear about them during our Zoom meetings. This is something that I definitely want us to point out. This can be a big question, how the point of view affects your learning and which one can you identify more with as a reader.